And now for our next news special report.
Tonight we're diving into something that's got a lot of you talking. A new movie, Civil War. Is it just a Hollywood drama, or is it something more? Something that might be preparing us for a future that we never thought possible in our great republic. This isn't just about entertainment, folks. It's about the message that we're being fed. Subtly, maybe even subconsciously. And Yuri Bezmenov, a name you might know, warned us about ideological subversion, about a society being quietly eroded from within. And now we've got a film that's painting a picture of America torn apart. Coincidence? I'm not so sure. Stick with us. By the end of this report, you'll see why this story matters not just to moviegoers, but to every patriot who loves this country. And trust me, you don't want to miss my final thought. Now, before we dive deeper, let's talk about something crucial you see, much like the unsettling scenarios in the movie trailer we're about to play, Civil War. Our nation faces real economic threats, economic instability being a major one. Just like the film hints at a divided nation, our economy teeters on a similar precarious edge, and that's why it's wise to think about safeguarding your assets. Gold has soared past 2,000 an ounce, reminiscent of historical crises like the 70s. Remember the Iran hostage crisis? Gold skyrocketed from $158.74 to $850 in 1980. Today, as our national debt climbs, alarmingly, gold's value mirrors this uncertainty. Don't wait for a fictional crisis to become your reality. Protect your future with the Patriot Gold Group. Call the number on the screen, 888-857-9437. Pause the video if you have to. Write it down. Call them and get your free investor guide. Remember, when it comes to your assets, it's better to be safe than sorry. Now, in tonight's special report, we're talking about the new film and taking a hard look at Civil War. This isn't just another Hollywood blockbuster. It's a depiction that might be closer to reality than we'd like to admit. The film shows a fractured America torn apart by internal conflict and chaos. It's a chilling vision, one that forces us to ask, is this movie merely speculative fiction, or is it a harbinger of what's to come? Take a look.
19 states have seceded.
The United States Army ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The three-term president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
I guess aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America.
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
Citizens of America.
The so-called Western forces of Texas and California
Have suffered a very great defeat at the hands of the United States military.
Mr. President, do you regret the use of airstrikes against American citizens? We're moving to D.C. today.
You need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol. Every instinct in me says this is death. Flooded.
Every time I survived the war zone, I thought I was sending a warning home. Don't do this. But here we are.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. What? Well, you're American, okay?
Okay. What kind of American are you? You don't know?
The Western forces will reach the White House on July 4th.
Oh my God.
Get in the car! Get in the car!
Move, move, move!
You're gonna hang back.
I'm not hanging back.
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go, 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 go!
God bless America.
Pretty terrifying reality. Now let's connect some dots. The plot of Civil War eerily mirrors the warnings given by Yuri Bezmenov, a former KGB operative who defected to the West. Bezmenov spoke at the lengths about the process of ideological subversion, a strategy to weaken a nation from within. His theory outlines 4 stages: demoralization, destabilization, crisis, and normalization. It's a slow, methodical process. According to Bezmenov, it's incredibly effective. Take a look.
The next step is destabilization. Again, this word says for itself what it is. To destabilize all the relations, all the accepted institutions and organizations in a country of your enemy. How you do it? You don't have to send up a battalion of KGB agents to blow up bridges. No. You let them do it themselves. And there are violent clashes between him and police, his group and ordinary people, no matter what. It's black against white, yellows against green, doesn't matter where the division line goes. As long as this group come into antagonistic clash, sometimes militantly, sometimes with firearms, that is destabilization process. Stabilization process usually leads directly to the process of crisis. Crisis is when society cannot function any more productively. It collapses. So therefore, the population at large is looking for a savior. Let's have a strong government, maybe socialist government, centralized. When we need some strong man, a savior comes and says, I will lead you. So we have 2 alternatives here. Civil war and invasion. Okay? See how it goes? Civil war, we know what it is. Lebanon is the best example. The civil war, which was artificially implanted in Lebanon by injection of force of PLO. Invasion we had in many other countries, like any East European country. It was invaded by the Soviet army. But the result is the same. The next stage is normalization.
The first stage, demoralization, is about eroding a nation's moral fiber, altering the perception of reality to such an extent that despite the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interest of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a process that takes about 15 to 20 years, the time needed to educate one generation. This stage, as Bezmenov describes, is mostly completed by influencing academia, pushing ideology in schools, and infiltrating the educational system, like we're seeing today. The aim is to change the perception of reality of every American in such a way that despite the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interest of defending their rights and freedoms. Now apply this to what we see in Civil War. The movie presents a nation where the populace is seemingly unaware of the gravity of their situation until it's too late. They're living in a distorted reality where the signs of impending doom are all around, but no one's paying attention, or worse, they're dismissing them as fear-mongering or conspiracy theories. And moving on to the second stage, destabilization, which Bezmenov says lasts only about 2 to 5 years. This involves creating conflicts and divisions, leading sometimes to militant clashes. This stage focuses on essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. The objective here is to create a situation where the society is unable to function productively, leading to a crisis. In Civil War, this is depicted vividly, as we see states succeeding, the government and military in direct conflict with citizens, and society breaking down into violent clashes. It's not just about physical violence, it's about destabilizing the very institutions that hold the country together, something that Bezmenov warned could be achieved without a single bullet being fired by an external enemy. And then there's the crisis stage, which leads to a power vacuum, a situation where society is so desperate for change, so desperate for return to normalcy, that they're willing to adopt a strongman leader or drastic measures. This is where Bezmenov's warning becomes particularly relevant. He talks about a society looking for a savior, willing to embrace even a socialist government if it promises to restore order. And Civil War dramatizes this crisis, showing a nation on the brink of collapse, with people so disillusioned and desperate that they might accept any solution that promises to bring back stability. In the final stage, normalization is perhaps the most insidious. This is where the new status quo is established, and it's often starkly different from the original. It's normalization in the sense that the drastic changes, which would have been unthinkable previously, become the norm. In the context of the movie, this could be a fractured and fundamentally altered United States. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. Now, why is all this important? Why should we as Americans pay attention to a movie and a decades-old warning from a former KGB agent? Well, the reason is simple. Ignoring the signs of societal breakdown, dismissing the potential for internal conflict can be catastrophic. Bezmenov's warning was not just about the Soviet Union's tactics during the Cold War. It's a timeless lesson on how societies can be manipulated and brought to their knees from within. And Civil War isn't just a movie. It's a mirror reflecting our current societal fractures, political polarization, regional divides, distrust in institutions, and the erosion of the national identity. These are not just plot points. They are realities that we are living through. Bezmenov's theory, when applied to our current situation, suggests we may already be in the throes of destabilization. The movie, whether intentionally or not, serves as a stark reminder of what could happen if we continue down this path. As a nation, we pride ourselves on our resilience, our unity, and our commitment to freedom in our republic. But we must be vigilant. We must recognize the signs of ideological subversion and take steps to counter it. It's not about being paranoid, it's about being prepared and proactive in preserving the fundamental values that make our republic strong. In closing, what does this mean for all of us, the American people? Well, the film Civil War and Yuri Bezmenov's warning, they're not just stories or historical footnotes, they are wake-up calls. They remind us of the fragile nature of our republic and the constant vigilance required to maintain it. This is not about fear-mongering, it's about awareness. It's about recognizing that the freedoms and values we cherish are not automatically guaranteed. They require our active participation in defense. As Americans, we have a responsibility to safeguard our nation, not just from external threats, but also from internal divisions that could tear us apart. Let's take these portrayals, fictional or factual, as reminders to stay united, to engage in constructive dialogue, and to uphold the principles that have kept our nation strong. Remember, the greatest strength of America lies in its people. People like you and me, committed to preserving liberty and justice for all in our great republic.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.